with my money.
Life is not what you think it is behind the scenes. Trust me. Homegirl is miserable. Like,
Was a serial cheater. Kevin had different mistresses depending on, the part of his life. This last one was the one that he had the longest term.
Looks like karma's got Sharina and Kevin on speed dial again. These two just can't seem to catch a single break. Kevin's been drowning in lawsuits, reportedly maxing out credit cards left and right and owing stacks of cash to several banks. He even had to unload their fancy mansion in those flashy cars just to keep up with the bills. Ever since Wendy's alimony payments stopped rolling in, it's been nothing but pure financial chaos for the couple. But hold up, it gets even messier. Word just came out that Sharina's being sued by TJ Maxx for allegedly defaulting on her $3,000 store card. $3,000 might have felt like nothing back when the money was flowing, but now it's dragging her straight into court. Can you believe that? And here's the kicker. While Sharina and Kevin are out here scrambling to stay afloat, Wendy's reportedly living it up in Florida, relaxed and saying this whole situation is karma in motion. People are whispering that she's been watching their downfall with a grin, and honestly, who could blame her?
So I'm not gonna take a lot of time because, I'm getting emotional. And I told myself I wasn't gonna do this. Nobody, and I mean nobody, will ever bring the energy, the charisma, the passion, the expertise, the talent, and whatever else you want to call it, like you seen Kelvin Hunter and my ex, Wendy Williams.
After everything that went down, this feels like the universe finally evening the score. Now, before things get even crazier, let's rewind and unpack how it all fell apart. This whole storm started brewing back in 2019 when Wendy finally hit her breaking point and filed for divorce from Kevin. And wow, it got messy fast. Turns out Kevin wasn't just sneaking around, he was deep in a full-blown affair with Sharina, and to make things even worse, he had a baby with her. Wendy reportedly already knew about his cheating ways, but what completely shattered her was finding out that Kevin had secretly fathered a child with Sharina behind her back. That was it, the final straw that blew everything apart. The moment she found out, Wendy wasted no time. Divorce papers were filed, Kevin got the boot as a manager, and she shut that whole chapter down in record time. It was like she wiped her life clean overnight. But here's where it gets even juicier. While this scandal was blowing up, Sharina's own family turned against her. They didn't just keep quiet, they actually stood with Wendy and blasted Sharina for wrecking her marriage. Her uncle didn't mince words. He said she should know right from wrong and even dragged her for leaving her hometown in South Carolina, not even for the holidays. That's some cold truth right there. And as if things weren't already wild enough, the court decided Wendy had to pay Kevin alimony, which became his main source of income. Imagine that, the man who betrayed her walking away with her money. What a jaw-dropper of a twist. Meanwhile, Sharina was out here acting like everything was perfect, trying to live the luxury life by starting business after business that all ended up crashing hard. Kevin was right by her side, pouring his cash into every dream. He even paid for her to go to school to become a massage therapist, got her a little mall kiosk in North Carolina, and helped her launch a jewelry and clothing line called Vish. But guess what? Every single one of those ventures went down in flames. Kevin tried to flip his own luck too. He opened up a barbershop, but that went down just as bad as the rest. And here's the real tea. Every single one of those business moves was being fueled by Wendy's money. Yep, all those failed ventures, fancy setups, and big dreams were paid for with the very checks Wendy was cutting. Despite everything crumbling behind the scenes, Sharina and Kevin were still out here stunting like they were living the high life. Designer fits, luxury trips, expensive rides, all while barely lifting a finger to actually earn it. And come on, if you know Wendy, then you know she wasn't about to let that slide in silence. She threw some serious shade, saying the reason Sharina's businesses kept tanking was plain as day. She's not smart and has no clue how to run a business. That was a brutal hit, but Wendy didn't hold back one bit. But Wendy's revenge didn't stop there. When her talk show got canceled, she slammed the brakes on those alimony payments completely, and that's when Kevin started spiraling. Suddenly, the man who once flaunted wealth was scraping for cash, unable to keep up the flashy lifestyle he and Sharina had built around Wendy's money. Things got so desperate that he actually hauled Wendy back to court, claiming those alimony checks were his only income and that he was flat out broke. What a major downfall for someone who once had it all. According to court papers snagged by the U.S. Sun, Kevin himself laid everything out, plain and clear. He said, "I have fallen behind on most of my bills. I currently live in a community that requires payments to the Homeowners Association, and I'm behind on that bill. If the Homeowners Association fees are not paid, foreclosure will soon follow. My car insurance hasn't been paid as a result of not receiving monthly severance payments. I'm behind on credit card payments because I have no money. Since the severance payments were suspended, my life has been greatly affected since the plaintiffs stopped making payments under our settlement agreement." Now this right here is just unbelievable. This man was living it up off Wendy's money, dripping in luxury, and didn't save a single dollar for himself, not one. Kevin and Sharina really thought they had a lifetime pass to Wendy's wallet, like she was just gonna bankroll their lifestyle forever. Talk about bad planning. But here's where the plot flipped. The moment Kevin tried taking his sob story to court, the judge wasn't having it. They looked over his request and basically said, absolutely not. The ruling was crystal clear. His case wasn't considered an emergency, and it got tossed without prejudice. That's legal talk for "you're not getting a dime, case dismissed." What a major downfall for Kevin. So that brings us to the real question. How in the world did Wendy manage to shut off those alimony checks and walk away without facing any penalty? Let's unpack that, because it's pure strategy.
Turns out, Wendy had this whole thing locked down from the jump. She made sure there was a clause written right into their divorce agreement that said she'd only have to keep paying Kevin as long as the Wendy Williams show was still running. So when her show got canceled due to her health issues, that clause activated. Boom! No show, no money owed. That meant she didn't have to send Kevin another penny, not one dime. And honestly, that's what you call a power move. And for anyone thinking Wendy might have to start cutting checks again once she gets back to work, nope, not happening. The divorce agreement spelled it out crystal clear. Those payments only applied if Wendy was working in mainstream television. And judging by her recent social media moves, she's not heading back to daytime TV anytime soon. She's shifting gears and gearing up for podcasting instead. Which means Kevin, he's officially out of luck for good. Meanwhile, things have been falling apart fast for Kevin and Sharina. They had to unload their Florida mansion for around $1.2 million just to keep their heads above water. And get this, Kevin reportedly took out a loan from a company called Flex Wealth just to finance 2 luxury cars. And now he's stuck trying to cover those payments solo. No Wendy money to lean on this time. But that's not the end of his problems. He's also being sued by UBS Bank for skipping out on his credit card payments, with the total allegedly running well into 5 figures. That's a serious stack of debt hanging over his head. And just when people thought Kevin was the only one getting hit from all sides, boom, Sharina's name pops up too. She's now reportedly being sued by TJ Maxx, and online whispers say even more lawsuits might be heading her way soon. My girl Miss Chronicles came through with the receipts, posting real court documents showing Sharina's in deep financial trouble, owing over $3,000 on her TJ Maxx card. The paperwork even shows she was supposed to have it all paid off by March 27, 2023, but she hasn't made a single payment since. Things are looking real shaky for that couple right now. After everything fell apart, Sharina tried her best to act unbothered online, posting pics of fancy dinners, luxury handbags, and high-end outfits like life was still sweet. But fans weren't fooled for a second. The comment section lit up with people calling her out, saying she was putting on a show and pretending to live a lifestyle she clearly couldn't afford anymore. Word on the street is, most of those glam photos were old, taken months before their finances crashed. Talk about keeping up appearances. Meanwhile, Kevin's been ghosting the spotlight, barely seen out in public. Insiders say he's been stressing non-stop, trying to figure out how to juggle all that debt now that Wendy's made it crystal clear she's never sending him another penny. Some reports even claim he's been pitching new business ideas to potential investors, but nobody's biting. The same people who used to cheer him on and ride his coattails have suddenly vanished into thin air. Online, people are calling this straight-up karma in 4K, saying Kevin and Sharina are finally living the reality they built for themselves. That so-called luxury lifestyle they love to flex is completely falling apart. The designer bags, the cars, the trips, it's all gone. and they're left facing the fallout head on. Crazy thing is, the kind of money they're stressing over now used to be pocket change for them, until Wendy slammed the door shut on those alimony checks. And speaking of Wendy, her longtime bestie, Miss Jones, Jonesy from 94.7, just dropped some fresh updates on what Wendy's been up to lately. And if that name sounds familiar, she's the same one who once exposed Kevin for allegedly trying to send a hitman after her over his messy drama with Wendy. But that wild story, that's a whole other situation we'll save for another time. Recently, Miss Jones showed up at Wendy's place just to check in because no one had heard a peep from her in a while. But here's the update. According to Wendy's doorman, she quietly packed her things and slipped away to Florida a few weeks ago with her son Kevin Hunter Jr. Word is, she just wanted some real peace, a little sunshine, and a break from all the chaos Sharina and Kevin have been stirring up.
Now brace yourself, because this next part is wild. Sources are saying Sharina's out here straight up blaming Wendy for her financial mess in that lawsuit. Apparently, she's been telling people that if Wendy hadn't stopped those alimony payments, none of this drama would be happening. Like, seriously? You can't make this up. People are saying Sharina has completely lost it. How do you take another woman's man, blow through her hard-earned money on a bunch of failed business ideas, live off her success for years, and then have the nerve to turn around and blame her when your own finances fall apart? The internet went crazy over this one, calling Sharina delusional and saying she's giving full-on unhinged vibes. And honestly, they're not wrong. One comment online really hit deep. Someone said Wendy's still that girl, and she can absolutely make a huge comeback when she's ready. Ever since she stepped out of the spotlight back in 2020, no one's truly taken her place. They reminded everyone that Wendy deserves to take her time, focus on healing, and return on her own terms, because real strength isn't in how fast you bounce back, it's in how strong you rise. And then came the shade of the century. Another commenter posted, "You know you're broke when you can't even pay off a $3,000 TJ Maxx bill." Whew, that one stung. The internet didn't hold back, and Sharina's been getting roasted non-stop ever since. But now, I gotta ask, what's your take on this whole mess? Do you think Sharina's really lost it by blaming Wendy for her money problems, or is this just another chapter in their never-ending drama? Could this finally be the end for Sharina and Kevin, or will they find a way to stir the pot again? Drop your thoughts down below. I'm ready to hear all of it. And before you bounce, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Star Watch so you don't miss what's coming next. Because trust me, the next story is about to be even messier.
They're adopting, but they're gonna play it off like it's allegedly, like they gave birth. I don't know, but I can. Okay, now you remember I was the first one to say this. And you remember, because wait, I haven't said it yet. Watch. It's gonna be an at-home water birth in the master bathroom. There are gonna be 3 people there. Beyonce, Jay-Z, and her mother. You would know, I've never partied with them. I've never been to their house. I don't swim in their pool. Like, we're not friends. I'm a pop culture pundit and commentator, right? That's what you call it. Pop culture woman. And I talk about
Kevin Hunter stirred up new drama by claiming that Beyonce and Jay-Z secretly played a role in silencing Wendy Williams. According to him, the power couple allegedly used their influence in the entertainment industry to make sure Wendy's voice disappeared from the spotlight once and for all.
She's a real looker, and she's a great singer, but she speaks the Ebonics, and that might not be good for...
He insists that there were powerful moves made behind closed doors, all to keep her quiet after years of bad blood. Things between Wendy and the Carters had been tense for a long time, especially after that infamous fake baby bump story, which Wendy discussed endlessly on her show, refusing to back down no matter how much criticism came her way. Wendy was never shy about her opinions on Beyonce or Jay-Z. She made it known every time she talked about them, often in ways that kept her audience watching and the internet buzzing. Now, Kevin Hunter, who has already been tied to that massive $250 million lawsuit over Wendy's estate and the guardianship drama, is adding another layer to the controversy. He's suggesting that the Carters' supposed interference wasn't just about silencing Wendy, it also left him financially stranded once her talk show was taken off the air and the alimony payments stopped coming his way.
That people play around with pregnancy. I've had so many miscarriages and I beg God so much for my own. So I just don't like to. And all right, here's some alleged conspiracy theories. Number one, the baby is helping Beyonce's sagging.
The real question now is what Kevin Hunter is actually after. Is he pulling back the curtain on how deep the entertainment industry's power moves go against Wendy Williams, or is he simply trying to make himself relevant again while bringing in some extra money? The timing of his accusations raise eyebrows. He's speaking out right when Wendy is still mourning her father's passing and struggling with major health issues, along with her ongoing guardianship situation. It's hard not to wonder if he's taking advantage of her silence to reshape the narrative and make himself look like the one with all the answers. These new claims suggest that Mike might be trying to rewrite his part in Wendy's downfall, especially now that her story continues to attract public attention. The whole situation feels calculated.
Beyonce stole her steez.
Oh, you think so?
Look at Crazy in Love video and look at A. Marie, Why Do We Fall in Love?
As though he's trying to shift sympathy his way by turning the spotlight back on himself. For years, Beyonce was one of Wendy Williams' go-to subjects on her talk show, and not in a flattering way. Wendy mentioned her often, rarely holding back when it came to criticism. At one point, she mocked Beyonce's speaking voice, claiming Beyonce sounds like she has a 5th grade education and needs closed captioning. She even joked that Beyonce should have starred in The Princess and the Frog instead of Alicia Keys, but only if she took lessons to refine her Ebonic speaking style, which Wendy said wasn't polished enough for a Disney princess role. The tension between Wendy Williams and the Carters didn't fade, it only got stronger with time. Wendy didn't just throw shade at Beyonce's attitude or public image, she went deeper, questioning the originality behind Beyonce's success. On her show, Wendy often brought up moments when Beyonce was accused of borrowing creative ideas from others. One memorable episode focused on a filmmaker who claimed that Beyonce's Lemonade trailer copied his short film. Wendy didn't just talk about it, she came with what she called receipts, showing side-by-side clips that looked strangely similar. She pointed out scenes with graffiti-covered walls, old garages, and wide grassy fields that lined up almost perfectly with Beyonce's visuals. Wendy used those comparisons to suggest that this wasn't an isolated issue, it was part of a larger pattern that had followed Beyonce for years. And to be fair, Wendy wasn't completely exaggerating. Beyonce has faced several copyright controversies throughout her career. One major case involved her cover of Desiree's song Kissin' You for the B-Day album, which she retitled Still in Love Kissin' You, while allegedly giving herself songwriting credit. The problem was that the proper licensing for the track hadn't been approved. Despite that, the song and movie video were released anyway, reportedly without Desiree's team signing off. When they found out, they filed a lawsuit seeking $150,000 in damages and demanded that Beyonce remove the track and video from all releases, arguing that the song had been used without authorization. For years, quiet rumors have followed Beyonce's career, with people suggesting that her success might have come with more inspiration from others than she ever admitted. Some insiders even claimed that after her record label's first vision for her solo music didn't quite land, Beyonce began drawing influence from the rising sound of artist Anne Marie to reshape her image and musical direction. These claims were never proven, but they added to the ongoing chatter about how carefully her team built her brand.
Then came the 2003 controversy involving singer Jennifer Armour, which only fueled the gossip further. According to reports, Jennifer sent a demo of her track Got a Little Bit of Love for You to Columbia Records, the same label that represented Beyonce. Just a few months later, Baby Boy dropped and immediately climbed the charts. But when Jennifer heard it, she couldn't shake the feeling that it sounded strikingly similar to her own song. Believing that her ideas had been lifted, she filed a lawsuit, insisting that Beyonce's camp must have used her demo as inspiration. The case eventually fell apart, though, because Jennifer couldn't prove that Beyonce or anyone on her team had ever actually listened to her version before creating Baby Boy.
So when Wendy Williams brought up the possibility that Beyoncé had borrowed ideas or sounds from other artists, she wasn't just stirring up drama for ratings. She was pointing out topics that were already circulating within the music industry. But the real explosion came later, when Wendy dove headfirst into the infamous fake baby bump rumors, analyzing every whisper about Beyoncé's pregnancy, from talk of a possible surrogate to speculation about adoption, turning gossip into national conversation. Even before Beyoncé officially announced a pregnancy, Wendy Williams was already telling her audience that she thought something about it didn't add up. She hinted that the entire thing might have been part of a calculated media plan, an elaborate setup to build anticipation for the On the Run HBO special with Jay-Z. To test her theory, Wendy took things to another level by having her production crew stage a pregnancy experiment live on her show. They tried to see if a baby bump could actually fold or collapse the way Beyoncé's appeared to during that infamous interview clip. Wendy said she wanted to believe Beyoncé's pregnancy was genuine, but her tone made it clear she had doubts. The clip went viral within hours, setting social media on fire. Later, Wendy reminded viewers that plenty of insiders had whispered about the same thing behind closed doors, but she was the only one who had the nerve to say it on national TV, and the only one who took the heat for doing it. Looking back at Wendy's archives, it's clear she covered every major controversy linked to Beyoncé and Jay-Z. She broke down everything, from the Lemonade era's emotional storytelling and Jay-Z's alleged infidelity, to the mystery behind Becky with the good hair, which she openly connected to designer Rachel Roy. Wendy even brought up unconfirmed talk of other side relationships that kept fans guessing and arguing online for years. But she didn't stop there. Wendy analyzed Beyoncé's Bow Down backlash, the rumored rivalry with Rihanna, and even repeated claims that Beyoncé's team might have had a hand in slowing down Carrie Hilson's career after their supposed feud. Wendy also discussed Kelly Rowland's emotional track Dirty Laundry, where Kelly admitted feeling overshadowed by Beyoncé's fame. And Wendy wasn't afraid to touch on family matters either. She talked about rumors that Beyoncé wasn't entirely supportive of her mother Tina Knowles' marriage to Richard Lawson, reportedly because of speculation about his alleged ties to Scientology. For Wendy, nothing was off limits when it came to the Carters, and that fearless approach kept her name and theirs circulating through every corner of the media. Wendy didn't just stop at criticizing Beyoncé and Jay-Z's public image. She took it to another level by questioning how much of their perfect couple aesthetic was real. She suggested that every glowing Instagram photo and coordinated public appearance was part of a strategy, carefully managed by powerful PR teams determined to protect the Carters' billion-dollar brand. On her show, Wendy also revisited one of the most controversial stories linked to Jay-Z, the long-standing rumors about a young man named Rymir, who claimed to be Jay-Z's son. Rymir reportedly pushed for a paternity test to confirm the connection, and Wendy broke it down in detail, hinting that the situation was being swept under the rug. Behind the scenes, whispers started spreading that Jay-Z's legal representatives, or even Roc Nation itself, had quietly sent cease and desist letters aimed at stopping Wendy from digging too deep. The timing matched when she began discussing the explosive Rihanna rumors, which had already sent social media into a frenzy. Many fans believed the Carters wanted the speculation buried before it could spin further out of control. If you stack up everything Wendy Williams ever said about Beyoncé, it would easily fill hours of footage, so it's not exactly surprising that the Carters might have wanted her to cool things down after years of criticism and public tension. What is surprising, though, is Kevin Hunter suddenly stepping forward now, claiming he's exposing the truth about Beyoncé supposedly silencing Wendy. The timing feels calculated. These allegations only started surfacing after Kevin's alimony payment stopped and his $250 million lawsuit was thrown out. Reports even suggest that the lawsuit was filed without Wendy's knowledge, raising serious questions about his motives.
If Kevin truly believed Wendy was being silenced, why wait until he was reportedly facing foreclosure and financial strain to start talking? According to court records, he's been trying to undo his divorce agreement, arguing that it was filled with fraud, misrepresentation, and misconduct. It all paints a picture of a man fighting to stay relevant and perhaps to recover what he's lost. One detail that really stood out in Kevin Hunter's ongoing legal maneuvers was how he involved Wendy Williams' longtime friend Regina in his case. According to court documents, Regina submitted an affidavit stating that while she was living with Wendy around July 2022, she personally saw Wendy's bank account balance. She also noted that Wendy had plans to switch banks and even met with representatives from Bank of America later that December. When you line up those events, it paints a different picture, one that suggests Kevin's motives may have been less about protecting Wendy's voice and more about trying to regain access to whatever money or assets was still within reach at the time. This wasn't Kevin's first attempt to take Wendy to court either. Long before the recent accusations, he had already filed 4 separate legal cases against her. One of his biggest challenges was aimed at Wendy's court-appointed guardian, Sabrina, whose authority he openly questioned. Kevin argued that Sabrina only became involved 2 years after his divorce with Wendy was finalized, suggesting that her role didn't hold much weight. He even went as far as requesting that Wendy be required to appear in court herself, writing in one of his filings, the defendant further asks that the court order the plaintiff, Wendy Hunter, to appear before the court herself. But the story doesn't stop with the paperwork. Behind the scenes, whispers began to circulate that Kevin's legal efforts were just one part of a much bigger pattern. Some people close to Wendy have hinted that Kevin's attempts to maintain control may have gone beyond court filings, that he might have played a deeper role in the instability surrounding her personal life and health struggles. Certain insiders have even suggested that Kevin, along with a few individuals from her former production team, may have influenced the chaos that unfolded as her condition worsened, raising serious questions about who was really looking out for her best interests. People who have followed Wendy Williams for years know she had big plans to make a full comeback to radio after her split from Kevin Hunter. She talked about it often, saying she wanted to return to the platform where her career first took off. According to industry insiders, word of her plans spread quickly, and that's when things reportedly began to get complicated. A return to radio would have given Wendy the kind of independence she hadn't had in years, both personally and financially. But some say that kind of freedom was exactly what Kevin didn't want her to have. Those close to the situation claim Kevin Hunter wasn't ready to let Wendy rebuild her life without him. Allegations surfaced that he may have teamed up with a few people from her production circle to keep a degree of control over her, even after their separation. According to those rumors, the claim was that Wendy was allegedly being kept medicated just enough to remain functional on camera and maintain the show's image. The alleged method was unsettling. Sources said the medication was mixed into the tea Wendy drank daily on set. The alleged goal was chillingly straightforward: keep her compliant enough to keep filming, and when she could no longer perform, gradually move her out of the public eye while maintaining control of her assets and reputation. Now, years later, Kevin is presenting himself as Wendy's so-called protector, trying to rewrite history as if he's the one looking out for her best interests. But that narrative doesn't match what Wendy herself has said. During a heated phone call at TMZ Live in late 2025, Wendy made her feelings crystal clear. She didn't hold back, saying, "Of course he wants to steal my money. He's always been that way." Her words left little room for interpretation, reinforcing the idea that Kevin's current claims may be less about loyalty and more about leverage. At this point, it's hard to tell whether this latest wave of chaos has anything to do with truly defending Wendy Williams, or if it's just Kevin Hunter's newest attempt to inch his way back into her world and somehow restart the money flow that ended with their divorce. The timing of it all feels calculated, especially since his financial troubles seem to surface right around the same time these claims about industry silencing began making headlines. Still, there are fans who believe there could be much bigger forces moving behind the curtain. Some suspect that the Carters may have had some kind of quiet involvement, if not directly controlling what happened to Wendy, then at least choosing not to step in while she was being pushed out of the spotlight.
So, what do you think? Was Kevin truly fighting for Wendy this time, or was he simply trying to protect his own bank account and reputation? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Star Watch for more shocking deep dives into the stories shaking the entertainment world.
Do you think you have dementia?
No. That's what I've been accused of, believe it or not. Frontal temporal dementia? How dare you?
Wendy Williams, the once unstoppable talk show titan and pop culture queen, is still locked in a fierce battle for her freedom. How's Wendy really doing these days? The woman who ruled daytime TV with her sharp tongue and hot takes went from running the airwaves to fighting for control of her own life.
Guess who's jealous of Adele? Beyonce.
Back in her prime, Wendy was everywhere. If there was a headline, she had the scoop. If there was drama, she was the one stirring it. But that all came crashing down when her health took a scary turn. Diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia and aphasia, Wendy was placed under a court-ordered guardianship, a move that shocked fans and friends alike. Her quiet disappearance from the spotlight was painfully exposed in Lifetime's emotional documentary, Where is Wendy Williams? In one heartbreaking moment, someone asks, "Did you drink this whole thing today?" as cameras show her living in a locked memory care facility. The Wendy we knew, bold, outspoken, and unfiltered, looked trapped. But
I'm telling you, this is like being in prison.
she's not staying silent anymore. For almost a year, Wendy has been fighting to break free from that guardianship, claiming she's more than capable of managing her own life. And now, a bombshell twist. Her team just revealed that a brand new medical evaluation, ordered by her court-appointed lawyers, says Wendy does not have frontotemporal dementia after all. That's huge! Wendy's battle first went public on The Breakfast Club and later on Nightline, where she made it clear she's ready to take her life back. Recently, she even brought in heavyweight attorney Joe Tacopina, yes, the same lawyer who's represented President Trump and AAP Rocky. According to Tacopina, top neurologist Dr. Samuel Gandy from Mount Sinai in New York personally handled Wendy's new evaluation.
It is a situation that she just can't get out of right now, and she's been trying for years.
When Nightline reached out to Mount Sinai, they declined to comment. Whispers are growing louder. Could Wendy Williams finally be winning her fight for freedom? Attorney Joe Tacopina says Wendy Williams was definitely struggling in the past, but not because of frontotemporal dementia. What I hear you say is that there was a point in Wendy Williams' life where perhaps she needed guardianship because of her challenges with substance abuse. Yeah, but that's not the same thing as dementia, and now her new evaluation might finally prove it. This new medical report completely clashes with the long-standing claim that Wendy had frontotemporal dementia. It's a dramatic reversal that's got everyone talking. The story really picked up back in January when Wendy broke her silence and called her old friend Charlamagne Tha God on The Breakfast Club. That moment marked the first time fans had heard Wendy's voice in nearly a year, and people went wild. Social media lit up with one message: Free Wendy! From that point on, Wendy wasn't holding back. She publicly disputed her diagnosis of FTD again and again, even during a private call from the assisted living home where she's required to stay under her guardianship. When asked, "Do you think you have dementia?" Wendy didn't hesitate to push back. She spoke about her daily life inside the upscale care facility, a place that might be comfortable, but still felt like a cage. She described her surroundings, her routine, and her limited freedom.
Hear you say is that there was a point in Wendy Williams' life where perhaps she needed guardianship because of her challenges with substance abuse.
Yeah, but that's not guardianship. That's counseling, right? I mean, everyone in AA gets a guardianship. I mean, the country would have, the streets would be empty.
Are you able in this facility to move about? To leave when you want? To leave your room when you want? The interviewer asked. The silence that followed said everything. After the public outcry and Wendy's determination to be heard, her court-appointed guardian finally agreed to have her health re-evaluated. According to court filings, that re-examination was completed in August, but the results were sealed tight. Still, People magazine dropped an exclusive that same month claiming her original diagnosis of frontotemporal dementia and aphasia had been upheld. When asked about that report, Wendy's camp fired back hard. "I haven't seen the report, so I don't want to hear it," one insider said. There were a group of doctors who said, yes, she has a form of dementia, period. Full stop. Now there's a new expert saying she doesn't. And just like that, the mystery deepens. Who's really telling the truth about Wendy's mind and freedom? Who should the public believe now? Wendy Williams' story has turned into one of the most tangled, emotional, and shocking celebrity battles in recent memory.
For the last 3 years, I have been caught up in the system. This has been 3 years I'm caught up in this system.
On one side, her longtime fans who've watched her entire downfall unfold on camera. On the other, the legal system that still holds her under strict control. And right in the middle, Wendy herself, fighting to prove she's not the confused woman some claim she is. Her legal team is gearing up for the next big move, filing Wendy's brand new medical assessment in New York court and demanding that her guardianship be ended for good. This is the step everyone's been waiting for. Attorney Joe Tacopina made it clear that the goal is simple. You have to get her out of the guardianship. But the real question is, when will the court finally take action? Could this next filing finally set Wendy free? Wendy was first placed under a guardianship back in 2022 when a New York judge appointed attorney Sabrina Morrissey to oversee her finances and medical decisions. At the time, the court claimed Wendy was unable to manage her own affairs, but that was before this shocking new medical evaluation flipped the whole story upside down. Tacopina insists that those old conditions no longer apply to Wendy and that it's time for the court to recognize the truth. And there's another question swirling through this entire saga. If Wendy's capable now, whose interest is it to keep her locked under guardianship? Because this arrangement isn't cheap. During one of our conversations, Wendy revealed she was paying around $18,000 a month for the high-end facility she's required to live in. $18,000 every month. That's almost $250,000 a year just to stay somewhere she doesn't even want to be. In a previous statement, Morrissey's legal team told that because the entire case is sealed, she can't publicly defend herself against the growing number of accusations being thrown her way. That silence has only fueled more speculation. Why is this case so secretive? And what's really going on behind those closed court doors? As the new medical report heads to court, all eyes are back on Wendy Williams. Will the judge finally side with her and let her take back control of her life? Or will she remain trapped in a system that so many say has already failed her? Attorney Sabrina Morrissey isn't staying silent anymore. Her team fired back hard, saying she emphatically denies any wrongdoing, mismanagement, or self-dealing when it comes to Wendy Williams' guardianship. According to Morrissey's legal camp, every move she makes as court-appointed guardian is fully regulated and supervised by the court. In other words, she claims there's no secret money trail, no shady backroom deals, and no mistreatment happening under her watch. The guardianship team has also pushed back against the outrage online, saying that Wendy isn't being isolated or abused. They insist she's allowed to see her family, leave the care facility for approved events, and is receiving high-quality medical treatment at all times. But fans aren't convinced. Social media's been buzzing with clips, comments, and theories. People want answers, and they want them now. Meanwhile, Wendy's powerhouse attorney Joe Tacopina says this fight is far from over. He's made it clear he's ready to go the distance, declaring that he'll battle in court until Wendy can take back full control of her own life. And with her name back in the headlines and a possible end to her guardianship in sight, the whispers are already starting. Could Wendy Williams actually be plotting a grand return to the limelight? Imagine the comeback of the decade. As the world watches this legal storm unfold, one thing's for sure, Wendy Williams isn't done fighting. The truth about her guardianship, her health, and her future is still unraveling, and fans are glued to every twist and turn. Don't miss a beat. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button to stay locked in as this story explodes. Keep watching Star Watch for all the latest updates, exclusives, and behind-the-scenes scoops on the Wendy Williams saga, because this drama is far from over.
He was with me, begging forgiveness, telling me to take a moment, and he would see it, and we were meant to be together.
Wendy Williams just dropped a legal bomb. She's coming after her ex's mistress, Cena Hudson, demanding every dime of those alimony millions back. And the judge is on her side. Now Cena's broke, panicking, and watching her luxury life crash down fast. Here's the wild backstory. After Wendy's explosive 2019 divorce from Kevin Hunter, she was forced to pay him a jaw-dropping $250,000 a month in alimony. But Kevin's affair with Sana, his longtime secret partner of nearly 15 years, was the real scandal behind it all. Now, Wendy's lawyers say that money wasn't just for Kevin. It was secretly funding Sana's lavish lifestyle. The court just ruled the deal flawed, and Wendy wants every cent returned. Sana, once living large off Wendy's success, is reportedly broke with no way out. Sources say the designer clothes, luxury homes, and fancy cars are all gone. Court docs show her accounts drained, her assets sold off, and her future in shambles. And Kevin, insiders whisper he's vanished, leaving Sana to face the storm alone. Kevin Hunter is scrambling to fix things with Wendy Williams, trying to save himself from total financial disaster.
And I sacrificed a lot of myself to come out successful on the other side.
But why now? What secret is he hiding that's got him running scared? This courtroom chaos didn't come out of thin air. Wendy's been battling for years, not just against Kevin, but against a system she says tried to silence and control her. Remember, this is the same Wendy who was labeled cognitively impaired last year and forced into a guardianship she swore she didn't need. She called it a luxury prison, claiming it was all a setup to trap her and control her cash, even accusing her own family of playing along. Now, with her mental state back under review and a judge finally taking her side, Wendy's done playing nice. This isn't just about the money anymore, it's about power. She was paying Kevin a shocking $250,000 a month, $3 million a year, while Sana reportedly lived off that money in pure comfort. But when Wendy's health and legal issues hit hard, those payments stopped fast.
It happened, the banks froze everything up. Yeah. He was not in a position to pay $10,000 a month on a apartment.
In early 2022, Kevin, broke and desperate, sued to restart them, claiming he couldn't even pay his bills. The court didn't buy it. Records show he was deep in debt, behind on his mortgage, car, and credit cards. Even UBS Bank came after him for over $20,000 in unpaid charges. Now his Florida home, once shared with Sana, is listed for $1.2 million, a last-ditch fire sale to cover his legal mess. But here's the bombshell. While Kevin was crying broke, Wendy's team dug deep and found out he allegedly used her money to live a double life.
I want to let people know that we still only human.
Fancy cars, luxury homes, and business deals all on her dime. One rare 2005 Ford GT worth $140,000 was reportedly sold off for quick cash, and court docs say he even owed thousands in HOA fees. The trail's messy, the lies are stacking up, and the truth is about to explode. The moment Wendy's payments stopped, Kevin's whole empire started crashing down. Now, with Wendy's lawsuit heating up, he's suddenly switching sides and begging for mercy. Insiders say Kevin's been reaching out non-stop, apologizing to Wendy, asking for forgiveness, even offering to testify against Sana just to get back in her good graces. But Wendy's not here for forgiveness. She wants justice. She's coming for every penny that was funneled away. Legal experts say if her team proves Kevin and Sana worked together to divert her money, Sana could owe millions she doesn't even have. And Kevin's sudden change of heart? It's raising serious questions. Is he actually sorry? Or just scrambling for a deal before Wendy's lawyers drop the real bombshells? The timing is wild too. Just last month, Wendy made a glamorous comeback at New York Fashion Week. Front row at Laquan Smith's show, shining in designer looks and pure confidence. A total glow-up from the dark days when she was hospitalized and her career looked over. Now she's back on top and fighting harder than ever. This isn't just about money, it's about taking back control. The same system that once called her unfit to handle her own life is now proving her right. The judge's new ruling isn't just a legal win, it's sweet vindication. But this story runs deeper than court documents. Wendy's guardianship battle has been pure chaos. Rumors of exploitation, family betrayal, and a system that almost broke her. Her niece, Alex Finney, has been vocal about the injustice, while Wendy herself has called her old facility a dump, surrounded by people she didn't belong with. Yet through every setback, Wendy stayed sharp and strategic. Now she's turning the tables in a way only she can. If she proves Kevin and Cena drained her fortune together, it'll be more than victory. It'll be revenge served stylishly cold. Meanwhile, sources say Cena's cracking under pressure, reaching out to old friends, even hinting at a tell-all to save herself.
You know, in a court proceeding that has nothing to do with Wendy's career. Moreover, that were made in front of Wendy Williams. If true, that is outrageous because this judge, one, she's not in the entertainment industry, so I don't know where she would get off opining about that and why that's even relevant to her role as a judge, who's basically a judge of the law.
But here's the trap. If she talks, she drags Kevin down with her. If she stays quiet, she's broke for good. Either way, Wendy wins. And if history tells us anything, when Wendy wins, she really wins. And when Wendy wins, she makes sure the whole world's watching. So where does that leave Kevin now? The man who once pulled all the strings, controlling Wendy's career, money, and even her personal life, is suddenly the one spiraling. His debts are stacking up, his assets are vanishing, and insiders say his ex-mistress is furious he's left her to take the fall alone. Sources claim Kevin's been spotted sneaking into quiet meetings with lawyers, trying to figure out his next move. Will he throw Cena under the bus to save himself? Or will he crawl back to Wendy, offering secrets in exchange for survival? Either way, one thing's clear. Kevin Hunter's flashy playboy lifestyle is done. The real question now is, will he sink solo or drag Cena down too? But here's the shocking twist. While Wendy's team is focused on getting her money back, the deeper story might expose Kevin's real role in her downfall. This was the man who stood beside her for years, allegedly running her finances, her show, and even shaping her image behind the scenes. Now, with Wendy's guardianship under renewed scrutiny, whispers are flying that Kevin's control may have gone way deeper than anyone knew.
An inordinate amount of people that took advantage of my absence, and her vulnerability at the time.
Was he just an unfaithful husband, or part of a bigger setup to control her entire empire? And with him suddenly begging forgiveness, everyone's wondering, what truth is he so scared she'll expose next? Wendy's legal team says the receipts are coming and the drama's just getting started. We're talking about a woman who built her empire by exposing the biggest names in hip-hop, a legend who made truth her brand. If Wendy's got receipts on Kevin and Cena, she's not keeping them quiet. She'll drop those receipts for the whole world to see. And when she does, it's going to hit hard. This isn't just a court battle. It's personal. The money, the betrayal, the pride, it's all on the line. But one question keeps echoing. Why now, after everything she's been through? Health scares, career meltdowns, and a guardianship that almost wiped her off the map. Why strike at this exact moment? Maybe it's not just about the cash. Maybe it's about payback. The final reckoning with the man who broke her heart, the system that tried to silence her, and the mistress who thought she'd won. Whatever her reason, one thing's for sure. Wendy Williams is back. And when she fights, she doesn't play nice. She destroys. The only mystery left is who's going down with her. Now that the judge has flipped the script, the motives are getting messier. Insiders say Kevin's cold abandonment of Cena isn't just heartless, it's calculated. He's trying to save himself while Wendy's lawsuit threatens to expose years of financial tricks. This is the same man who once played the loyal husband, the manager, the rock by her side, until he wasn't. Now, with the legal tide turning fast, Kevin's sudden shift toward Wendy looks less like guilt and more like survival. Sources say his apologies aren't sincere, they're desperate. The man who allegedly ran her career in cash is now the one scrambling for a lifeline. And poor Cena, she's been iced out. No calls, no support, no loyalty left. Insiders claim Kevin's already whispering promises to Wendy behind closed doors, trying to cut his own deal. The irony is wild. He built a secret life with Cena using Wendy's money, and now he's tossing her aside to protect himself. But here's the real twist. Wendy's not famous for forgiveness. Wendy's not known for forgiveness. She's known for revenge. And if Kevin thinks a few weak apologies can erase years of betrayal, he's about to find out just how wrong he is. Let's get into the money, because that's where things get dirty. Cena Hudson didn't just enjoy Kevin's alimony, she lived like royalty on it. Lavish homes, luxury cars, designer everything. She was living the dream on money that never truly belonged to her. But now, the court says those payments were never valid, and she's facing a financial nightmare like no other. Legal experts say Wendy's team is coming hard, demanding every penny back. Cena's bankruptcy filing won't protect her either. The court doesn't care that she already spent the money. It only cares that it wasn't hers to spend. If Wendy's lawyers win, Cena might have to sell off everything just to settle her debts, leaving her with nothing but bills and a bruised reputation. But here's where it gets juicier. Cena's not going down quietly. Sources say she's calling up old friends and insiders, even teasing the idea of a tell-all that could blow this case wide open. The danger? If she talks, she exposes herself. If she stays silent, she's broke for good. It's a trap with no way out, and Kevin knows it. Insiders claim that's exactly why he's cutting her off now, hoping to escape before she drags him under too. But Wendy's legal team is watching every move. They know Cena's desperation might be their secret weapon. One wrong word, one shocking interview, and the whole scheme could collapse overnight. And beyond the money and lawsuits, this fight runs deep. It's personal. Wendy Williams built her empire by exposing cheaters and liars, and now she's facing them head-on in her own story. This isn't just revenge, it's her legacy on the line. The man who betrayed Wendy is now begging for mercy, while the woman who profited from that betrayal is left holding the bag. But inside Wendy's camp, opinions are split. Some think Kevin's apologies might actually be sincere, that maybe he's finally owning up to his mistakes. Others, they're calling it what it is, just another slick move to regain control. And honestly, who can blame them? Kevin's history is messy. He's been accused of manipulating Wendy's money, isolating her from her circle, and even exploiting her health battles for his own gain. So why should anyone trust his sudden change of heart? Insiders say the real answer is simple. He's terrified of what Wendy might expose next. This lawsuit isn't just about getting her money back, it's about revealing the truth. And if Wendy's team brings the receipts, that truth could completely destroy Kevin's reputation. Remember, this is the same man who allegedly lived a double life, using Wendy's hard-earned money to fund his affairs and even trying to take over her accounts when she was at her weakest. If her lawyers prove Kevin and Cena worked together to funnel those funds, it won't just be a financial win. It'll be a total takedown. In Hollywood, reputation is currency, and Kevin's could be gone overnight. But there's a bigger story playing out here too. Wendy's long guardianship fight has been one of the most talked about scandals. Claims of exploitation, family betrayal, and a court system that many say trapped her in silence. She's described her living conditions as a luxury prison, surrounded by strangers, stripped of freedom and power. Yet despite it all, Wendy stayed sharp, strategic, and unshaken. And now she's flipping the script. If she proves Kevin and Cena drained her fortune, this won't just be justice, it'll be her full circle moment. And through it all, her family's been speaking out. Her sister, Wanda Finney, has called out the broken system holding Wendy back, while her niece, Alex, has stayed fiercely by her side, reminding everyone that Wendy might have been silenced, but never defeated. But where were they when Kevin was allegedly draining Wendy's money? Where were they when Cena was living large off Wendy's grind? That silence says everything. And now, as Wendy's legal war hits its peak, her family ties are getting tangled fast. Some think she should forgive Kevin for the sake of peace, but others, they're ready to watch it all burn down. So the question is, whose side will Wendy really take? As the courtroom tension explodes, one thing's crystal clear. This fight isn't just about cash. It's about control, power, and one woman's mission to reclaim her life after years of being silenced. Wendy Williams has always been a fighter, and this time she's fighting for everything: her money, her freedom, and her legacy. And if Kevin and Cena ever thought they could play her, they're about to get a reality check they'll never forget. But here's the kicker. This story's nowhere near over. With Cena drowning in bankruptcy and Kevin mumbling apologies behind closed doors, the real question is Wendy's win truly the end, or just the beginning of something even wilder? Because in the world of fame, money, and revenge, the truth never stays buried for long. It just gets louder and messier. So what do you think? Are Kevin's apologies real, Or just another one of his smooth plays to save himself? And what's Cena's next desperate move gonna be? Drop your thoughts below because this scandal is still heating up and the next twist could drop any minute. Like, share, and subscribe to Star Watch for more breaking updates, wild receipts, and all the drama that Hollywood doesn't want you to see.
Do you think you have dementia?
No. That's what I've been accused of, believe it or not. Frontal temporal dementia? How dare you? And how do you prove it? By keeping me locked here so that I can't see. Look, I can't go out. You have to have keys to open the door, to hit the elevator, to go downstairs. Keys.
This whole Wendy Williams situation just keeps getting crazier by the day. Every time her name trends, it's like the story gets deeper and messier. Something about all of it just doesn't sit right. You can tell she's been through a lot, but the people around her, I don't trust half of them. I really don't think she should be out there doing another full TV show. No way. She's too vulnerable right now, and it feels like there are way too many leeches circling her. People who only care about the spotlight, not her well-being. What she really needs is time and peace, not producers calling the shots or fake friends smiling for the camera.
Pop culture queen is still fighting for her freedom. How is Wendy doing?
She's doing great. I mean, she's Wendy, you know. A lot of people's knees would have buckled at this point. Not her.
The former talk show host was once at the top of the heap.
How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
Her hot topics, the talk of the town.
Guess who's jealous of Adele? Beyonce.
But her health took a steep fall. Diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia and aphasia and placed in a guardianship. The grim state of her hiatus from public life laid bare in the Lifetime documentary, Where is Wendy Williams?
Did you drink this whole thing today?
Living in a locked memory care facility, Wendy has been on a public campaign for almost a year to get out of her guardianship.
The terms of Wendy's guardianship seem to be extreme. I've spoke to her several months ago, and she just sounds like the same Wendy. Yes, is she quirky? Sure. Is she eccentric? Sure. She always has been.
And now a new revelation. Her team says a new medical evaluation ordered by Wendy's court-appointed legal team finding she does not have frontotemporal dementia.
She does not have frontal lobar dementia. So that should be game, set, match.
Honestly, she should just stay in her own zone, turn on that mic from the comfort of her home, and speak her truth straight to the world. Imagine her doing a raw, unfiltered podcast. No scripts, no edits, just Wendy being Wendy. That voice alone could shake things up. People would tune in just to hear her side because everyone knows she's still sharp. She's still got that edge. She doesn't need a fancy studio. Her power is in her words, her attitude, and the way she tells it like it is. Now, about that medical evaluation that's been making the rounds. It's got everybody talking. Reports say it's tied to her dementia diagnosis, but the more you dig, the more confusing it gets.
Because if she is capable now of taking care of her own health and her own finances, there may not be a need for a guardianship.
Like, how do we even know what's real? Something about this whole situation feels darker, like there's a bigger game being played behind the scenes. There's just no way she should still be trapped under that guardianship. It's been too long. She's capable enough to speak, to express herself, to make decisions. So why is she still under control? It doesn't make sense. And I get what some folks are saying. It's because of her past struggles, they say. But come on. I've never heard of someone being locked into a guardianship just because of alcohol use. That's usually handled through treatment or counseling, not by stripping someone's rights away. That's extreme, which is exactly why so many people believe something else is going on.
I am not cognitively impaired, you know what I'm saying?
Speaking to Nightline.
I'm telling you, this is like being in prison.
You look so good, girl.
Even re-emerging into the spotlight at New York Fashion Week this fall.
How does it feel to be dressed up tonight, Wendy? $1 zillion. Oh my God, Wendy.
It's very scary that someone like Wendy Williams could be in that position because it is a situation that she just can't get out of right now. And she's been trying for years.
It's almost like there's a hidden agenda or someone behind the scenes trying to hold on to that control. So, the real question is, how does she get out? What's the process? And who's the one holding the keys? Because this woman's been through enough. She deserves to live her life on her own terms. And you can feel the public starting to question everything, like who's really protecting Wendy and who's just pretending to. The world's watching now, and people are demanding answers. Something's got to give soon, because this story isn't over, not even close. Are they even going to answer that question? Like, seriously, are we ever going to get a straight answer about what's really going on here? Because when you start putting the pieces together, it just doesn't add up. After all the backlash, all the people speaking out, it's wild to think that Wendy's being made to pay for a place she doesn't even want to be in. And now we find out she might not even have the medical condition they claim she had. Come on, that's insane. $18,000 a month, every single month for a setup she didn't choose. That's robbery in plain sight. And for real, what was she even paying for before all this? Like, what did her regular home cost? Even if she was living nice, $18,000 every month just to stay somewhere she doesn't want to be? That's straight up madness. Who's managing that money, and where is it all going? Out of that $18,000, how much is really being used for her care and how much is being pocketed? Because something about those numbers screams funny business. This whole situation just feels off, and it's getting harder and harder to believe everything's legit.
Alcohol abuse can cause various neurologic symptoms, including memory problems, behavior changes that can sort of mimic dementia. Alcohol-related brain damage can improve. Not all patients will have improvements, but some patients will have really dramatic and substantial improvement as they stop drinking.
Now here's the part that really makes no sense. If that medical evaluation came back saying she doesn't have what they said she had, then why is this guardianship still even active?
In August, but results of the evaluation are not public. However, People magazine exclusively reported that same month that Wendy's dementia diagnosis was upheld.
It was reported her original diagnosis of front temporal dementia and aphasia were upheld. Do you agree with those results?
No, I don't agree with those results because I've not seen those results. We don't know who the doctor is. We've not seen the report. So I don't want to hear it.
There were a group of doctors who said, yes, she has a form of dementia, period, full stop. Now there's a new expert who said she doesn't. Who should the public believe?
The new expert, because he's the top.
Why hasn't that guardian said, you know what, Wendy's fine now, let's wrap this up? That would be the fair, human thing to do. Let her pick someone she trusts, maybe a family member to keep an eye out if needed, and then let her go home. She's more than capable of running her own life. But nah, that's not what's happening, and you gotta ask yourself why. Could it be because once that guardianship ends, somebody stops getting those big checks? Because that $18,000 a month doesn't just disappear, it goes somewhere. And if that money stops flowing, certain people might not like that. That's why this whole thing is starting to look less like care and more like control. It's like they're keeping her boxed in just to keep the money coming. Man, this whole situation is too strange. Something's not right. And the longer this goes on, the more people are gonna start digging for the truth. Because if Wendy's fine and still being held back, that's not just shady, that's downright wrong. At this point, people are demanding answers, and honestly, they deserve them. The whole Wendy Williams situation has turned into something way bigger than anyone expected.
The plan is this. There are guardianship attorneys, and we're watching and waiting. They've assured Wendy by year's end she'll be out of guardianship.
It's not just about her career or her health anymore. It's about power, money, and who's really calling the shots behind closed doors. Every new detail that comes out just makes the story messier. There's talk about lawyers, guardians, medical reports, and contracts. But where's Wendy's voice in all of this? The same woman who built an empire by speaking her mind suddenly can't speak for herself? That doesn't sit right at all. You can tell this isn't just another celebrity headline. This feels like something deeper, something that shows how quickly control can be taken away when the wrong people get involved.
When I talked to her, she said it was $18,000 a month she's paying.
Approximately, yeah, imagine. Just imagine of her money, not the state's money, her money, for a place where she is imprisoned for all intents and purposes.
And the fact that nobody seems to be held accountable yet, that's what really gets people fired up. Fans are online every day trying to piece things together like detectives. They're asking real questions. Who's protecting her? Where's the proof? Why is the truth being hidden? It's wild how the people who claim to care about her the most are the same ones making the situation more confusing. And then there's that money trail. That's where things always get real. $18,000 a month isn't pocket change. Somebody's signing those checks and somebody's cashing them in. But how much of that is actually being spent on Wendy's care versus being funneled somewhere else? It's giving off serious control vibes, like she's being treated as an investment instead of a person. Every dollar she's worked for, every talk show moment that built her name, now being managed by someone else. That's heartbreaking. What's even crazier is how quiet some of the insiders have been. You'd think by now someone from her team or circle would speak up and set the record straight, but it's crickets. And the silence makes it look even more suspicious. People are starting to whisper that maybe there are deals, NDAs, or hush money being passed around to keep the truth buried. Because when you mix fame, health issues, and control over someone's money, that's when the truth starts disappearing behind polished statements and official reports.
Look, she has had access to her family. She has left the facility to attend particular events, and she's not being mistreated.
It's getting to a point where fans don't just want updates, they want justice. They want to see Wendy standing strong, free, and in charge again. The woman has spent decades entertaining the world, breaking stories, and holding people accountable. Now it's time for someone to stand up and do the same for her. This story isn't fading away anytime soon, and if there's one thing people know for sure, the truth will come out eventually. Man, at this point, everybody can see it. Something strange is going on, no doubt about it. You can just feel that something deeper is hiding behind all this. Every time I check the comments section, it's full of people speaking real truth. Someone wrote, "Dementia is not a crime. Financial exploitation is." And honestly, that line hit hard because that's exactly what's happening. They robbed her right in plain sight, cold. And the wild part is, this kind of thing doesn't just happen to celebrities. It happens to regular people too, every single day. That's what makes it so scary. Another person dropped a real one too. They said their mom had dementia from alcohol use, but once she got treatment, a lot of her symptoms faded away. That shows you how things aren't always what they seem.
And Wendy Williams does not drink alcohol. That's a fact. So where's the danger?
Sometimes people just need proper care and support, not total control over their lives. And then someone else says something that really got me thinking. If Wendy was broke, no one would care to be her guardian. Wow, that right there says it all. If there wasn't money on the table, would anyone even be fighting to hold that position? Probably not. That's why this whole situation feels shady. And look, I still don't understand the full process here. One doctor says one thing, another says the complete opposite. How are we supposed to know what's true anymore? If the new doctor is saying she doesn't have what they claimed, then why hasn't the guardian stepped in to end this mess? Like seriously, if the medical facts have changed, shouldn't the legal situation change too? The guardian, Sabrina, she's the one that could really step up right now and show she's doing the right thing. But with every new headline, it's starting to look worse and worse for her side of the story. It just doesn't make sense. And until it does, we're gonna keep watching, reacting, and breaking down every single update that drops. Because people deserve to know what's happening, not the sugar-coated version, but the real story behind it all. Wendy deserves fairness, and the people deserve the truth. So make sure you stick around, because this story is far from over. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button right now so you don't miss the next update. You already know, this is Star Watch, and we're keeping our eyes locked on every twist that comes next.
This is one of the most outrageous things I have heard in a long, long time. In a case that has been filled with. Ben looks at Wendy and says, you know, you had a great career. Your career is over. It is never coming back. You're done.
You will not get away with trying to pull off having two families, you dirty.
Kevin Hunter's empire didn't just crumble, it exploded right in front of everyone's eyes. The man who once strutted through TV studios dripping in fur and flexing fancy cars, the so-called mastermind behind Wendy Williams' talk show throne, is now drowning in lawsuits, debt, and straight-up humiliation. After years of living big off the fortune his ex-wife built, Kevin's luxury life is being ripped apart piece by piece.
He was with me. begging forgiveness, telling me to take a moment, and he would see it, and we were meant to be together. And I sacrificed a lot of myself to come out successful on the other side.
Court papers from 2023 spilled the tea. He fell behind on homeowners' fees, maxed out his credit cards, and even got dragged into court by a bank for over $20,000. It's a downfall that feels like karma came knocking loud and clear, just as Wendy starts shining again in the spotlight. The timing couldn't be messier. While Kevin's name keeps showing up in filings for unpaid bills and car repossessions, Wendy Williams.
And I told myself I wasn't going to do this.
It's one of the best things, honestly, that could have ever happened to me. Just about the whole 13 years that they were together, and people behind the scenes say it was.
Once called unfit to handle her own life, shows up front row at Laquan Smith's New York Fashion Week. September 25, cameras go wild as she waves at fans, face glowing, hair on point. She looks like a queen taking back her throne, while her ex's empire turns to dust. Just a few years ago, the roles were flipped. Wendy was the one hidden away, saying she was stuck in a luxury prison. Kevin kept pretending everything was sweet, posting quotes about success, showing off cars, and bragging about his thing with Sharina Hudson. But now, that silence from him says it all. His last move crumbled when a New Jersey judge ruled Wendy didn't have to pay him alimony again, and that hit him like a wrecking ball. Those checks were his lifeline. $37,500 a month straight from Wendy's hard-earned empire. When the money stopped flowing, Kevin ran straight to court in 2022 crying financial hardship. He claimed he couldn't cover his homeowner's fees, insurance, or even his credit cards. The judge didn't waste words. The message was clear. None of that was Wendy's problem. That ruling didn't just shut down his appeal. It exposed how deep he'd been living off her even after the split. Behind the curtain, insiders say the decision threw his personal life into total chaos. Sharina Hudson, once showing off that soft life lifestyle, allegedly panicked when the cash dried up. Sources close to the pair claim she started hustling for income through lifestyle branding, vegan cooking, and even small-time real estate flips. But none of it brought in enough to keep their Florida dream alive. By mid-2025, their luxury home was listed for sale, and creditors were coming in hot. When Kevin started unloading his stuff, including 2 pricey cars that reportedly ended up with a financing firm in Idaho, rumors flew that Sharina had dipped out. His Instagram, once filled with her selfies and luxury shots, suddenly went blank except for a few business posts. Weeks later, whispers spread that she was trying to come back, but the damage was already done. Meanwhile, Wendy's comeback was pure drama in motion. Just months earlier, she was still fighting the guardianship that had her locked down in a Manhattan assisted living facility. The court had labeled her legally incapacitated, but when she showed up at Fashion Week, she looked fierce, sharp, confident, and ready to talk. In phone interviews, she didn't hold back, calling the facility a dump and a messed up situation. Wendy was furious about being stuck on a floor full of elderly residents. She said she could only make outgoing calls and couldn't even receive messages. On top of that, her court-appointed guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, allegedly blocked her from using her iPad, the one she used to listen to her old radio shows. Those aren't the words of a woman who's lost touch. They're the words of someone fighting to be heard. While Wendy's fans started pushing the Free Wendy movement, Kevin tried flipping her battle into his own spotlight. In June 2024, he filed a massive federal lawsuit accusing the guardianship system of corruption, calling it fraudulent bondage, and demanding a wild $250 million payout to split between him and Wendy. Legal experts tore Kevin's lawsuit to shreds, calling it straight up delusional, since he had zero legal right to sue on Wendy's behalf. The case was dead on arrival, but out in public, it set off major questions about his real intentions. Was Kevin genuinely trying to fight for Wendy's freedom, or just chasing another payday now that the alimony check stopped rolling in? Their messy past makes that question impossible to ignore. Kevin met Wendy back in the mid-90s, slid into her life as a manager, and somehow climbed into a producer role without any solid credentials to back it up. People who worked on The Wendy Williams Show described him as bossy, loud, and straight up intimidating. Kevin strutted through that studio like he ran the place. But when his marriage blew up in 2019, after his longtime affair with Sharina Hudson became public, the empire crashed overnight. Wendy didn't hold back. She filed for divorce, kicked him off the show, and erased his name from every company paper she could find. Months later, Sharina gave birth to a baby girl, and the new couple started living large off Wendy's fortune like it would never end. Now, insiders say that whole setup is completely falling apart. Sharina's soft life glow has dimmed big time. She used to flood her socials with fancy brunches and beach trips. Now it's just short clips promoting vegan recipes and modest real estate hustles. Industry voices in Florida say she's been grinding to stay above water. Some even whisper that she's been reaching out to old contacts and maybe even reconnecting with Kevin after a long break. If that's true, it's wild. A full circle twist where the woman who once helped wreck a marriage might be back with the man who can't pay his own bills. Whether they're reunited or not, one thing's crystal clear: their fantasy lifestyle has gone up in flames. Wendy's story just keeps getting more tragic and more surreal. Since 2022, her every move, dollar, and decision has been controlled by court order. It all started when Wells Fargo claimed she was of unsound mind and froze her accounts, which led a judge to hand over control to guardian Sabrina Morrissey, a move her family still fights to overturn. In 2024, the Lifetime doc Where is Wendy Williams showed her looking lost and painfully alone in her apartment, and it broke hearts everywhere.
But lately, Wendy's been stepping back into the light with fire and focus. She told radio hosts, "I'm not cognitively impaired," and her publicist, Shanti, swears she's as sharp as ever. Even her old producer says she's the strongest she's been in years. Every time Wendy shows up in public, it feels like a bold message, proof that she still knows exactly who she is. Kevin, on the other hand, looks like he's unraveling fast. The court rejections have made it clear his whole life was built on Wendy's fame and fortune. Every post-divorce project he's tried, a publishing company, a wellness brand, even a podcast, has gone completely silent. By June 2025, fans spotted his Florida property listed way below market value, a sign that financial trouble's closing in fast. Creditors have been hitting him hard with court orders for unpaid fees. He's mostly kept quiet, occasionally dropping vague posts about faith and resilience. That loud, cocky energy he once flaunted is gone, replaced with straight-up silence. The irony is wild. The man who once ran Wendy's career, managed her bank accounts, and shaped her image, can't even keep his own finances together. The woman he built his new life with might be long gone, and the woman he once called incapacitated is now the only one still standing strong in the spotlight. Every new picture of Wendy stepping out, smiling in high-end designer looks, feels like a direct reflection of Kevin's downfall. Fans online can't stop talking about it. One viral comment nailed it: "She's smiling while he's selling cars." No one knows if Wendy's seen the chatter herself, but insiders say she stays plugged into entertainment news on her tablet and reacts with cool, calm amusement. Now the legal chaos around Wendy's guardianship might be ready to explode again. Court tapers from last summer show Kevin accusing the presiding judge of political bias, claiming she took donations from lawyers linked to Wells Fargo. The claims were never proven, but they showed how personal and obsessive his mission has become. People close to Wendy believe Kevin still views himself as either her savior or her next paycheck. They say his financial collapse could push him to sneak back into her world, hoping to benefit off her story again. Meanwhile, whispers suggest Sharina's rumored attempt to reconnect might not be about love, it might be pure survival. With their money drying up and Wendy's estate still trapped in court, both of them could be desperate to reattach themselves to the same story that once made them rich. That's when the whispers started to grow louder. Some insiders claim Kevin's money meltdown isn't just a personal mess, it's part of a deeper, dirtier web, the kind of chaos that doesn't just ruin reputations, it exposes entire systems. Industry gossip says his financial troubles might be directly tied to Wendy's ongoing guardianship battle, and that his so-called fight to set her free might have really been about getting access to her frozen fortune. That theory's been circling quietly through media circles. Kevin wasn't suing from pride, he was suing out of pure panic.
because behind that guardianship sits a mountain of cash, millions in TV checks, royalties, and locked-up assets that no one outside the system can touch. The same money Kevin once controlled, the same funds Sharina allegedly relied on to keep her luxury lifestyle going. When those accounts froze, their dream life cracked wide open. So when Kevin dropped that wild $250 million lawsuit against Wendy's guardian and the banks tied to her case, people saw it for what it really was, a desperate last swing at a fortune slipping through his fingers. Some believe something way darker is going on, a man trying to drag Wendy's entire legal setup down with him just to prove a point or make sure nobody rises if he falls. Former crew members from the Wendy Williams show are finally breaking their silence now that the dust is settled. One insider spilled on a podcast that Kevin always acted like the show was his, not Wendy's. They painted a picture of secret meetings, sudden firings, and shady production deals that vanished into thin air, a full-blown pattern of control. When you line that up next to his current mess, lawsuits, unpaid loans, frozen accounts, and even eviction drama, it all fits together too perfectly. This isn't just a guy falling on hard times, it's his whole empire collapsing brick by brick. Meanwhile, Wendy's guardianship has people side-eyeing the whole situation. The same court that labeled her unfit somehow keeps letting her accounts drain to cover luxury living expenses, sky-high security, constant legal fees, and non-stop bills. We've seen this kind of setup before in Hollywood, the kind that's supposed to protect someone but ends up looking more like a profit plan. People are starting to ask the real question, who's actually winning from Wendy's restricted freedom? Kevin insists it's not her. Last year, he told a reporter this system is corrupt to its bones, but his own money mess makes that claim sound real suspicious. If Wendy got her freedom back, so would her finances, and guess who'd probably be first in line? To benefit. His motives look shaky at best, especially now that Sharina's gone completely silent. After years of flaunting her lifestyle online, she's disappeared. Posts wiped, comments locked, and her business is fading fast. That silence makes everything feel even more suspicious. A former acquaintance told a Florida gossip blogger that Sharina just couldn't handle the pressure anymore, saying she'd been cut off financially and even had to sell her jewelry just to keep up. None of that's confirmed, but the timing lines up perfectly with Kevin's loan defaults and desperate asset sales. If that's true, it shows two people trapped by their own downfall, while the woman they once wronged is finally standing strong again.
And then there's Wendy's only son, the one she's always defended. Rumors once swirled that he used her credit cards to rent luxury spots in Miami. Wells Fargo's first guardianship filing mentioned financial exploitation concerns without dropping names, but several outlets hinted that family tension might have been part of what pushed the court to take control of her money in the first place. Sources tied to former production staff say Kevin tried to twist those same papers to make it seem like Wendy was surrounded by manipulators, trying to paint himself as the one who truly understood her. But if that was ever real, then why do all these moves keep coming back to the same thing? Her money. Industry lawyers say this whole mess has blown way past being just a celebrity divorce. It's become a masterclass in power, control, and money. When someone famous loses their grip, guardianships like Wendy's rarely end, one attorney explained. They just shift, evolve, and stretch on, always under the mask of care. That line hits hard. It exposes how influence can quietly disappear behind closed courtroom doors. Kevin's lawsuit might have been reckless, but it cracked open a chilling question about how this system really works. What happens when the fame fades, but the money keeps flowing? Who gets control of the fortune when the star can't speak for themselves? And why do the same people claiming to protect Wendy also seem to benefit from keeping her quiet? Those questions are hanging heavy, and the silence surrounding them keeps getting louder. As time passes, more names keep surfacing. Old business managers, assistants, and even lawyers who once handled Wendy's biggest deals. Some have been subpoenaed in unrelated cases, while others have suddenly gone mum, refusing to go on record. Insiders whisper that huge revelations could drop if federal investigators ever dig into the money trail behind Wendy's guardianship. If that happens, Kevin's downfall might end up just being a piece of a way bigger explosion, one that could expose not only his greed, but the hidden machine that profits from celebrity collapse.
The tabloids already have a name for it, the Wendy Web, a twisted network of everyone who once had strings tied to her ex-husband, her guardian, bank insiders, TV producers, even some family members. Each one has their own version of events, their own justifications, and their own slice of guilt. Now that Kevin's reputation is in ashes, a lot of those same people are scrambling to clean up their own image before the spotlight turns their direction. We've seen this Hollywood playbook before. When the puppet master falls, everyone else suddenly claims they were just trying to help. It's the oldest trick in the book. Sharina's rumored attempts to reconnect with Kevin might just be part of that same PR scramble. Some insiders believe she's trying to reposition herself before the next wave of headlines hits, especially now that the public's turned on both of them. Others say she's quietly stockpiling receipts, texts, emails, and old records to cut a deal if the legal mess circles back around. Whatever the truth is, it all screams one word: panic. The once golden couple of scandal has been reduced to pure survival mode. The same duo who used to flex matching cars and a mansion are now allegedly buried in debt and hoping the noise dies down before it gets any louder. Through all the chaos, Wendy's voice keeps breaking through, like a ghost cutting through static. "I'm not crazy, I'm not gone," she said in a recorded phone call last year. Her words came out shaky but burned with that old fire, part anger, part warning. Whether it was clarity or pure defiance, it sounded like a message to everyone who ever doubted her. And maybe that's what really haunts Kevin now. After all his lawsuits, rants, and desperate public claims, he knows Wendy still holds the one thing he can't ever buy back: her audience's love. If that guardianship ever cracks and Wendy wins back even a piece of control over her money, the story could flip overnight. Just imagine the headlines: Wendy Williams, free at last. The talk show legend staging the ultimate comeback, reclaiming the fortune everyone tried to manage for her. For Kevin and Sharina, that kind of return wouldn't just be embarrassing, it could be dangerous. Once the financial audits start, some motives might start looking real different. We're standing at a wild turning point in this saga. The man who once pulled every string in Wendy's life is buried in debt. The woman who was silenced on camera is finally finding a voice again. And the mistress who once flaunted her soft life dreams is fading out, her glam fantasy turning into a cautionary tale whispered online. But underneath it all, something bigger's brewing, a reckoning not just for Kevin Hunter, but for everyone who fed on Wendy Williams' fame while pretending to protect her. And you gotta wonder, what happens when the woman everyone counted out finally gets her say? Could Wendy's freedom be the plot twist that brings down everyone who cashed in on her pain? Or will the same forces that silenced her once rush to shut her down again? This story's far from over, it's just heating up. Stay tuned, because the drama surrounding Wendy Williams is still unfolding, and it's getting messier by the minute. Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like, share, and subscribe to Star Watch, because you don't want to miss what happens next.
According to a new report, Wendy Williams does not have frontotemporal dementia.
Looks like Wendy might finally be breaking free from that messy guardianship. After some new medical tests came out, it turns out she was intentionally misdiagnosed with a list of mental illnesses she never even had. Can you believe that? What's worse, those same so-called professionals the court assigned to protect her are the ones being accused of setting her up. Wendy's been shouting from the rooftops for months saying, "I'm not crazy," but nobody wanted to hear her out. Even Nicki Minaj jumped in, spilling major tea about what they were doing to Wendy. But folks brushed it off like it was nothing. Nicki apparently did it because she's afraid she might be the next one to get hit with a fake diagnosis and tossed into a conservatorship. But of course, people are ignoring Nicki just like they ignored Wendy until the truth blew up in their faces. All this chaos started a few days ago when TMZ dropped a bomb. Wendy recently went through a series of neurological tests done by a top neurologist in New York. And guess what? He said Wendy never had the illness that kept her trapped under that guardianship for years. Can you imagine? They locked this woman in multiple mental facilities, yanked her TV show away, kept her away from her own family, and filled her up with meds. All because of a so-called illness that wasn't even real. That's some straight-up foul play. And according to Wendy herself, this wasn't some innocent mistake, it was planned. She's saying Wells Fargo had everything to do with it, pulling strings behind the scenes to control her money and do whatever they wanted with it. Wells Fargo's the one who started this entire circus when they claimed Wendy wasn't capable of handling her finances and needed a guardian to stop exploitation. That's when she got slapped with that diagnosis of frontotemporal dementia and aphasia, and from there, her freedom was gone. But here's the shady part. Right after her legal guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, took over, reports came out that Wendy was doing better. So how did she suddenly go from recovering to supposedly having all these illnesses again? Make it make sense. Even Wendy's son, Kevin Jr., wasn't buying it. He jumped into the comments on a post from the Shade Room and called it out. Plain and simple. He said Wendy's own doctor told them her dementia was supposedly alcohol-induced. But for some wild reason, her team was still letting her drink. That's not care. That's control. On top of that, they cut all contact with her family, leaving them totally in the dark about where Wendy was or what was happening to her. This whole situation screams corruption, and it's finally coming to light.
I feel like the Guardian has not done a good job of protecting my mom.
Wendy's been fighting non-stop to break free from that guardianship, but they just won't back off. She's done everything possible. She even brought in her own independent medical evaluations that clearly showed she doesn't have those illnesses they keep labeling her with. Still, they keep pushing the same tired story like they're desperate to keep control of her life. Experts have already said it. People with frontotemporal dementia are supposed to get worse over time, not better. But Wendy's story is the total opposite. Ever since she got clean and sober 3 years ago, she's shown incredible strength and mental clarity. Her progress alone proves something isn't adding up here. Now, TMZ is reporting that Wendy's legal team is gearing up to file some serious paperwork within the next 2 weeks. They're heading straight to court to request a hearing where they'll demand the judge end this guardianship once and for all. And if the judge tries to play hardball and refuses, Wendy's powerhouse lawyer Joe Tina is ready to take it even further. He'll call for a jury trial and ask real people, not just the system, to decide Wendy's freedom. That's huge. When this whole guardianship nightmare started, everyone had one main suspect in mind: Sean. The tension between him and Wendy goes way back, and anyone who's been watching knows he's been trying to take her down for years. Wendy even once claimed that she got an email with photos showing Sean in a very compromising situation during a trip to Mexico. She said she received proof that made her question everything about him. Ever since then, things between them have been nothing but chaos.
She got fired from Hot 97 because she had a picture of Puffy. So if you don't mind, give me the story from your point of view and what was in the picture.
We were in Cancun. For whatever reason, dude was playing with Puff. He went behind him and grabbed his trunks and pulled them down. Some girls that was taking pictures. They took that picture and emailed it back to Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams said she had him in a compromising position and like he was gay, something like that. She was gonna put it out. Wendy had shown people that email. Puff told Hot 97 if they didn't get rid of her before he got back in New York, that they was not gonna get any music from any of his friends, any of the record labels executives that was cool with him. Everybody was gonna boycott their station. We was out in LA for about 3 days before we landed back in New York. Wendy Williams was in the radio station in Philly. She was fired.
And don't forget that wild moment years ago when a 19-year-old artist ended up taking the blame for that messy club incident connected to Sean. Wendy was the only one bold enough to question what really went down. She didn't buy the official story for a second and kept saying the whole situation needed a proper investigation. She even hinted that Sean and J-Lo might have been keeping something hidden from the public. That's how fearless Wendy was. She wasn't afraid to shine light on the secrets everyone else tiptoed around. And long before Cassie ever walked away, Wendy was already calling out Sean's relationship with her, saying something about it just didn't sit right. Turns out, she might have been right all along.
Puffy wants Cassie back. Oh, it's been all over social media. Puffy posted a picture of Michael Jackson's song, Lady in My Life, and wrote, if anyone sees Cassie this weekend, please tell her to listen to this song 100 times. I suggest don't use social media, though, to reach out. I think this is a grand overture from Puffy. I don't believe he really wants her back. I believe he probably treated her at some particular point like a possession, like a possession. And If you really care, then you'd reach out privately, not publicly.
Y'all had bad blood for a while.
Real bad.
Real bad blood.
The worst blood.
The worst blood. You almost wanted to run you out of New York at one point, right? Well, not run, like push you out of New York at one point. He had you ran out. You give him full credit for that? Okay, cool. He had you ran out of New York.
Things got real tense when Sean made a chilling comment about Wendy's teenage son during an interview. Wendy had invited him for what was supposed to be a normal chat, but out of nowhere, he mentioned her son right in the middle of it. You could see Wendy tense up. She instantly knew that wasn't random. People watching felt it too. Many believed Sean wasn't just talking, but sending a warning, like, stay out of my business. The vibe was cold, and everyone could tell he wanted Wendy to back off, or things could get ugly. Nicki Minaj might stir up drama sometimes, but one thing she's not is a liar, and people are finally starting to see it. For the longest time, everyone blamed Sean for what went down with Wendy because of their history, but Nicki's latest claims just flipped the script. She's saying Jay-Z and Roc Nation also had a hand in Wendy's situation, and now they're allegedly trying to pull the same move on her. A few days ago, Nicki went off after Charlamagne did that interview with Gucci Mane and Keishia, and she didn't hold back. She accused Roc Nation of using Charlamagne to help set up Wendy's guardianship, saying, Charlamagne, the fraud, is Jay-Z's friend and business partner, using iHeartRadio for these disgusting ploys against innocent families. That line shook the internet. Nicki reminded everyone that Charlamagne was close to Wendy before her life spiraled, and she warned, the buck stops here, baby. Bookmark this tweet. She's letting everyone know she's not going down quietly. Then Tasha K came through with even more tea. She claimed Roc Nation's allegedly been plotting to do the same thing to Nicki. According to her, the only reason they haven't succeeded is because of Nicki's husband, Kenneth Petty. Since she's married, if anyone ever tried to fake a diagnosis or take control of her finances, her money would legally go straight to her husband. That makes it way harder for anyone to trap her the way Wendy got trapped. And when you look at the pattern, it all fits. Every celebrity who's been thrown into a conservatorship was single at the time. Britney wasn't married, and Wendy was divorced when Wells Fargo got involved. So maybe that's the secret. Being married gives a layer of protection that makes it harder for anyone to pull these power moves.
This is not something that is like a conspiracy theory. This actually happens. But if they're able to separate Nicki and Kenny, that makes Nicki vulnerable because your husband is your power of attorney. Your husband is your signator on all of your accounts in the event anything goes wrong. Michael wasn't married. Britney Spears was married, but of course they control all of that. And so the mere fact that all these narratives are out about Kenny stealing this to buy chains and buy that, that's not what it is. It's like, they got doctors that are giving out these diagnoses saying that she's schizophrenic and bipolar and all of this stuff. And then Kenny's now here. She trusts Kenny. Of course, they've known each other since they were kids. Their families know each other. And so Kenny is just in the way. And so what do? You create narratives to try to separate, because if you separate, then you can divide and conquer. And so that's what it's about. She's going into her latter years and, there's a lot of money on the line and she's worth a lot, but Kenny is in the way. And so, look at what they're doing to Wendy Williams. Had Wendy would have still been with Kelvin, they wouldn't have been able to put her under a conservatorship because she has a husband. So, and like I said, there was only one that was accused of stealing.
People need to stop twisting Nicki Minaj's words for real. She doesn't have schizophrenia. Let's get that straight. What's wild is that this whole thing feels way too familiar. Remember how they tried to 5150 Kanye just for being bipolar? It's a mood disorder, not a crime. And then they turned around and tried to take his assets just because he spoke his mind. Meanwhile, Wendy Williams is sitting in some fancy hospital suite while her lawyers burn through her money like it's nothing. It's the same old pattern. Michael Jackson's gone, Britney Spears had to run off to Mexico just to feel free again after years trapped under that conservatorship. And now Wendy's stuck in this twisted system too. What part of this don't people understand? This is an industry takedown. Systemic, planned, and meant to make powerful artists look unstable so others can control their money. And let's be real, Kenneth, Nicki's husband, is a major obstacle for them. All this drama started after Nicki tweeted about that COVID vaccine, and things have been heating up ever since. Now people are speculating that Wendy's misdiagnosis wasn't just some coincidence, like the industry wants us to believe. Word is, they locked her in that guardianship right when Sean's trial was going down, so she couldn't testify about what she supposedly went through with him. But now that the trial's over and she's no longer a threat, suddenly they're ready to let her go free? Sounds way too convenient. And honestly, it all lines up. Wendy took multiple independent tests proving she wasn't sick. No one listened. But right after Sean's trial ended, another test came out and suddenly everyone's taking her seriously. Please, that timing says it all. And now look what's happening. They're trying to label Nicki crazy, right when rumors start swirling that Jay-Z might be next in line for major legal heat after Sean. It's almost like they're playing games right in our faces, expecting everyone to ignore it. But people are waking up. It's getting harder and harder to look away. Fans have plenty to say too. One person online said Wendy's family should sue that doctor who misdiagnosed her with dementia. That mistake ruined her life. Another person pointed out that her condo was sold, her beloved pet was given away, and thousands of dollars worth of clothes and furniture disappeared while she was under that guardianship. It's heartbreaking. Bottom line, free Wendy. But now it's your turn to sound off. What do you think about Wendy finally breaking free from that guardianship? And do you believe Nicki Minaj might really be the next target in this industry game? Do you think Wendy's finally free for good? Or could there be more twists coming? And what's your take on Nicki's situation? Real threat or just rumors gone wild? I really want to know what you think. So drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching and hanging out till the end. Don't forget to like, share, and if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button for more updates from Star Watch. There's plenty more drama, secrets, and celebrity talk waiting for you. Go check out another video next. Catch you later. Stay sharp and stay tuned.
Joe Tacopino, Wendy Williams' attorney, was on Nightline, and he's saying that she'll be out of her guardianship potentially this year.
This is one of the most outrageous things I have heard in a long, long time, in a case that has been filled with. And looks at Wendy and says, you know, you had a great career. Your career is over. It is never coming back. You're done.
What if your entire empire built on lies came crashing down overnight? That's exactly what's happening to Kevin Hunter and his longtime mistress, Serena Hudson. Wendy Williams' fortune, once their golden ticket, is slipping away for good. For over a decade, they lived large, allegedly scheming behind the scenes to secure their future on Wendy's hard-earned success. They left her shattered.
It happened, you know, the banks froze everything up. Yeah. He was not in a position to pay $10,000 a month on a.
But when the Wendy Williams show ended in 2022, everything flipped upside down. When the court-appointed guardianship locked her accounts, the cash flow vanished overnight. Insiders say Kevin's finances hit rock bottom. He's now selling off luxury cars and designer watches, dodging lawsuits left and right. Meanwhile, Serena, who used to flash designer bags and fancy brunches, is reportedly scrambling just to get by. What a fall from grace. This wasn't just bad luck, it was a plan gone totally wrong. Sources claim Kevin had been pocketing around $250,000 every single month from Wendy after their divorce. But once that guardianship kicked in, poof, his money stream dried up. By 2023, court papers confirmed what many already whispered. Kevin's fortune was finished, and his options were zero. One judge even shut down his desperate attempt to restart the alimony, ruling that Wendy owed him nothing under their legal deal.
The judge in the guardianship read Alex Finney the Riot Act, threatened her, and said, "You're talking." Making an accusation that she's talking to the media, and if you continue doing it, I'm going to do this to you, I'm going to do that to you. There is a gag order in this case. I can tell you that the judge is scared.
When that failed, Kevin went nuclear, launching a massive $250 million lawsuit. He wasn't just coming after Wendy this time. He dragged her guardian and even Wells Fargo into it, accusing them all of teaming up to freeze him out. It's wild. And here's where it gets even messier. While Wendy was struggling with serious health battles, Moving between treatment centers and losing control of her own finances, Kevin and Serena were allegedly building a whole new life with her money. Serena Hudson, the same woman Kevin kept in the shadows for over 10 years while he managed Wendy's career, reportedly gave birth to his daughter back in 2019.
And by the way, the judge doesn't know what she's talking about. I mean,
by the way, there are a lot of
you-
people clamoring for Wendy
Yeah.
to actually get back on the air and to have a show again.
When did this judge become Roger Ebert? I mean, I'm serious. Wendy Williams is a hot commodity right now. I can tell you from our Tubi documentary, it attracted a lot of attention. She's done interviews with major outlets.
The betrayal runs deep, and now karma seems to be catching up fast. Insiders close to the situation say Kevin and Serena's secret affair dragged on for more than 15 years, right through some of Wendy's hardest moments, including her hospital stays and rehab stints. This wasn't some quick fling, it was a full-blown double life. Kevin reportedly went all in, buying Serena properties, funding her luxe lifestyle, and even helping her launch that vegan chef brand, all allegedly with Wendy's own money. But then came the crash. Once the Wendy Williams show went off the air and Wendy was placed under court guardianship, the money train screeched to a halt.
And when can we expect some movement in court?
The plan is this. There are guardianship attorneys, and we're watching and waiting. They've assured Wendy by year's end she'll be out of guardianship. No guardianship should feel like a sentence. And honestly, Wendy's does. Wendy's feels like a sentence.
She said it was $18,000 a month she was paying this
Approximately, yeah, imagine. Just imagine of her money, not the state's money, her money.
The monthly check stopped cold. In court, Kevin complained he couldn't even cover basic bills. His homeowner fees, car insurance, and credit cards were stacking up fast. Things got so bad that UBS Bank hit him with a lawsuit in mid-2024, claiming he owed more than $20,000 in unpaid debt. Around that same time, public records showed Kevin pawning off luxury cars and trying to unload the Florida home he once shared with Serena for about $1.2 million. But despite that high price tag, neighbors whispered that the place had fallen into rough shape. Another clue the money had truly dried up.
I've always spoken to her, and she's always wanted me to spend her money.
And Serena, she didn't just vanish. Sources say she deactivated all her social media and quietly moved back in with family after the scandal exploded. Those Instagram glam shots and designer brand promos, gone. By late 2025, she popped back up online, this time pushing real estate listings, wellness products, and small business services, trying to rebuild from the wreckage. One insider summed it up perfectly. She went from Gucci to gut cleanses. That line says it all. Sources claim that during this chaotic period, Kevin and Serena started drifting apart fast. The tension between them reportedly exploded over money problems and what came next for their future.
I was told that if that even happens this year, and it probably won't, yes, it would just be a limited guardianship. So there would be somebody with her to still figure out certain things like financial decisions, She also has she's openly talked about dealing with substance abuse, right? So someone checking in on her when it comes to that, she'll be able to come and go like we've seen her do, more recently. But there will be somebody there. But from, the way that they're angling this is that she's going to be 100% free. And I was told that that is not what it's going to be.
Some insiders even allege Kevin stopped helping with expenses for their daughter. And that move supposedly pushed their relationship to the breaking point. And let's be real, public opinion has been brutal. Online, people have called their downfall pure karma. For years, Wendy's fans suspected something shady. But when the Lifetime documentary dropped in early 2024, every doubt vanished. The truth came crashing out for the world to see.
He was with me, begging forgiveness, telling me to take a moment, and he would see it, and we were meant to be together.
Viewers were heartbroken watching Wendy struggle. She appeared confused, her speech slurred, and her movement slowed, while allegedly the same people closest to her were out making brand deals, arranging film crews, and even selling access to her life. Serena's name never came up in the doc, but her silence and sudden absence from Kevin's side while he fought his legal battles spoke volumes. Kevin, on the other hand, tried hard to flip the script. In a federal lawsuit, he painted himself as Wendy's protector, claiming he was blowing the lid off financial abuse within her guardianship. But most people weren't buying that narrative at all. Legal experts quickly pointed out that Kevin had zero authority to sue on Wendy's behalf. especially since they were divorced and he no longer had any official role in her affairs.
Job of protecting my mom. As long as she has people around who are yes people, I know that she's not getting the help that she needs or getting better.
Still, that lawsuit grabbed headlines. Kevin dragged court officials, doctors, and even banking execs into a messy swirl of accusations that shocked everyone following the story. But here's the twist. Some of his claims started lining up with whispers coming from Wendy's own circle. Friends and family had already hinted that shady things were happening behind the scenes, and suddenly, Kevin's wild allegations didn't seem so far-fetched after all. Court documents and exclusive interviews reveal that Wendy Williams' guardianship has been controversial since day one. It all started in 2022 when Wells Fargo froze her accounts, claiming there were suspicious withdrawals and warning of possible exploitation. What began as a so-called protective move turned into something far bigger, and by 2024, the situation had spiraled. Wendy's niece, her sister, and even her son went public with serious concerns about being completely cut off. They claimed her court-appointed guardian and attorney, Sabrina Morrissey, was blocking visits and shutting out family. Then came the bombshell. Sabrina allegedly sold Wendy's Manhattan apartment while Wendy herself was pleading to leave the assisted living facility she called a dump, saying she was being over-medicated and ignored. All this unfolded while Kevin was busy suing the same guardianship system that had stopped the cash flow he once depended on. The drama was unreal. The irony is hard to miss. The very system designed to protect Wendy may have accidentally exposed just how many people had a financial interest in keeping her silent. Kevin's lawsuit, whether it was a genuine fight for truth or just a desperate move, pulled the curtain back on a tangled web of money, control, and power.
And I can't figure out, why is there a gag order in this case? That Wendy can't talk about her circumstances? Why is the judge doing it?
That aside,
there is something that's even way bigger.
It showed who was still getting paid, who was locked out, and who might be next in line for exposure. As for Serena, her name might be mostly missing from the court records, but insiders whisper that she's still in the mix, especially when it comes to the last few assets tied to Kevin's name. And honestly, if this isn't a full-circle downfall for Kevin and Serena, what else could it be? This might just be the start of something even bigger. Investigators are now digging deep into the secrets behind Wendy Williams' guardianship, cracking open sealed court files, questioning insiders, and tracing suspicious financial trails. And what they're uncovering is explosive. Whispers of money mismanagement, shady backdoor deals, and even the quiet selling of Wendy's personal belongings are spreading fast. Sources familiar with the ongoing court motions hint that a hidden trust account, one Wendy reportedly never approved access to, may have been tampered with. If that's true, it could pull multiple people into a massive financial scandal. And that means Kevin and Serena might not be the only ones who desperately need Wendy to stay silent if they want to keep their own worlds from falling apart. But the real twist hides beneath the headlines. Because while Kevin Hunter and Serena Hudson are scrambling to rebuild what's left of their lives, the guardianship that was supposed to protect Wendy might be doing more harm than good. Multiple insiders close to the case now claim the real winner in this whole arrangement isn't Wendy. It's the woman controlling her. Court-appointed guardian Sabrina Morrissey is reportedly earning hundreds of dollars per hour, all directly billed to Wendy's estate. That means every time she files a motion, attends a hearing, or signs off on a denied family visit, she's getting paid. And the longer this guardianship drags on, the more the money keeps rolling in. It's a shocking twist, because while Wendy's family fights to reach her, and the public debates who's really helping or hurting her, one thing's becoming crystal clear. Someone's profiting from her silence.
See this gangster that behind the scenes is that him? Or is that
Shout out to Wendy Williams.
That profit might be the very reason Wendy's still trapped in this never-ending legal nightmare. Kevin Hunter's massive $250 million federal lawsuit might sound wild on paper, but what he claimed inside those filings was downright chilling. He laid out a theory that this wasn't about Wendy Williams' health. It was a full-blown setup. According to Kevin, a network of powerful lawyers, banks, and court-appointed guardians allegedly worked together to freeze Wendy's fortune, block her from her own money, and quietly divide the profits, while cutting out anyone like him who used to live off that wealth. It's a shocking accusation. And sure, his motives may be tangled with self-interest, but parts of his story line up with what Wendy's own family has been saying for months. Several close relatives have publicly spoken out about being shut out of Wendy's life completely. Her niece, Alex Finney, and her sister, Wanda, both claim they can't reach her freely anymore. Calls go unanswered, visits get canceled with no warning, and messages vanish into the void. The emotional toll on her family has been heartbreaking to watch. One of Wendy's longtime friends didn't hold back either, calling the guardianship circle a pack of losers all circling Wendy like vultures, not to help, but to harvest. That's a brutal image, but one that's resonated with fans who've watched Wendy's once bright world turn into a lockdown mystery. Even Wendy's beloved cats were reportedly taken away without her consent, and her Manhattan apartment sold off at a loss. The picture being painted here isn't one of compassion, it's total control. Meanwhile, on the other side of this tangled mess, Serena Hudson's fall from luxury is just as jaw-dropping. Once spotted stepping out of Ferraris and rocking head-to-toe designer looks, allegedly all funded by Wendy's money, Serena's now in full grind mode, trying to piece her life back together. Reports say she's juggling multiple hustles, from selling real estate and promoting wellness supplements to consulting small businesses, all while keeping a low profile online. But behind that quiet comeback, insiders say, is a woman drowning in regret. Industry sources who once worked with her describe Serena as being in total despair, realizing too late that her place in Kevin's plan was never safe. She thought she was winning, one insider said. Now she's just surviving. That shift has reportedly sparked growing tension between Serena and Kevin, especially with bills piling up, lawsuits looming, and no steady income to keep them afloat. What started as a love triangle built on Wendy's empire has now turned into a slow-motion collapse. And the cracks are showing everywhere. Kevin's failed lawsuits, Serena's fading business ventures, and the non-stop wave of public backlash have reportedly taken a huge toll on both of them. The once glamorous Florida house they shared, listed for sale, their fancy cars, sold off. According to one former associate, Serena has quietly packed up and moved back in with family, possibly marking the final chapter of her relationship with Kevin. And just when people thought Serena was bouncing back, a video clip surfaced, her cheerfully saying, "I am so excited to introduce you guys to these pancakes with only 3 ingredients. Baby, when I tell you these things gonna be so But behind that upbeat tone, insiders say something deeper is going on. Sources close to Serena claim the breakdown isn't just financial, it's emotional too. One former friend described her as withdrawn, ashamed, and visibly shaken during a recent encounter. Whispers suggest her nights are haunted by the empire she helped wreck, turning her once bold hustle into a quiet fight for redemption. She's reportedly struggling to come to terms with how fast her glittering lifestyle turned to dust, and how far the fallout has reached. Insiders believe Serena completely underestimated Wendy's strength, and the sheer power of the legal machine now locking everyone out. What she thought would be a smooth, luxury-filled future has turned into a long, exhausting spiral of court drama and closed doors. What started as a slick plan for wealth and status has crumbled into a story of regret and downfall. Legal experts say Wendy's financial guardianship is one of the most tightly controlled cases in recent celebrity history. Every account monitored, every move documented, every dollar locked down tight. And in that freeze, Serena's old world, the fame, the comfort, the illusion of control, has vanished completely, leaving her to face the full weight of the choices that brought her here. With Wendy Williams' finances now locked up tighter than ever, it's practically impossible for anyone on the outside to touch her wealth. And that harsh reality reportedly hit Serena Hudson like a brick. Many believe she had banked, emotionally and financially, on Kevin's steady access to Wendy's money. But once that door slammed shut, Serena was left standing in the wreckage, facing nothing but the fallout. According to insiders, the emotional toll has become painfully obvious. They say Serena's grown paranoid, constantly looking over her shoulder, convinced that she's being watched, recorded, or tracked. She's terrified of lawsuits, media exposure, and the endless gossip that keeps her name floating online. Allegedly, she's burned bridges with old friends, stopped answering calls from business contacts, and avoids public events entirely, anything to stay under the radar. One source described her as moving like someone waiting for the next hit, suggesting Serena's living in constant fear of what else might surface from her years tied to Kevin Hunter. This isn't just guilt, it's panic. And that fear seems to be cracking the calm, polished image she used to project. Some close to her say Serena's now battling an identity crisis that cuts deep. For over a decade, she built her image around being the quiet force behind Kevin, the woman who could move in the shadows, benefit in silence, and never get caught. But now that invisibility has turned into isolation, and with no money flow from Kevin or Wendy's camp, she's reportedly struggling just to keep her life together. Her attempts to reinvent herself through small businesses and online ventures have mostly fizzled out. Rumors are swirling that her personal debt is piling up and that pressure could push her into serious legal danger. Legal analysts watching Wendy's ongoing case warn that new financial probes could soon dig even deeper, especially if triggered by medical reviews or new court challenges. If investigators start tracing every transaction connected to Wendy's estate, they might uncover hidden assets or quiet money transfers that were never meant to see daylight. And if Serena benefited from any of those moves, even indirectly, she could end up pulled into a brand new storm of lawsuits and financial scrutiny. The walls are closing in fast, and this time, there might be no one left to shield her. There may not be an official complaint against Serena Hudson yet, but insiders say the energy around her is shifting fast. One industry source put it perfectly: in high-profile guardianships, the bigger the fall, the wider the net. And that's exactly what's happening now. As Serena's paranoia grows and the cracks in her composure widen, people are starting to wonder, could she finally flip the script? Could she expose even darker secrets about Kevin Hunter's behind-the-scenes moves to save herself? That question is echoing louder every day as her silence drags on. Because in this scandal, no one is safe anymore. Everyone who once looked untouchable is now just one headline away from total collapse. And the one person who might know exactly what Kevin did when the cameras weren't rolling. Serena could also be the most desperate to strike a deal before the truth hits the fan. But this chaos isn't just about broken relationships. It's a reflection of something much deeper. When Kevin chose Serena over Wendy, it wasn't just infidelity. It allegedly triggered a devastating chain reaction that left Wendy cut off, vulnerable, and stripped of her own fortune. What began as a personal betrayal has exploded into a full-blown scandal with national eyes watching every move. The Lifetime documentary showed the world a heartbreaking side of Wendy, confused, distant, but still fighting to be free. In one unforgettable scene, she reportedly dropped a handwritten note from her assisted living window that read, "Help Wendy." That cry for help shook viewers to their core, and it hasn't been forgotten. Now, as the guardianship comes under fresh scrutiny and the legal armor around Wendy starts to crack, new questions are rising. Was Kevin's betrayal and Serena's involvement just the result of the chaos, or were they part of the reason Wendy ended up in this state to begin with? And just when you think it can't get darker, whispers are starting to spread about even deeper manipulation hiding within the guardianship itself. If those rumors prove true, this story could explode into something way bigger than anyone ever imagined. Multiple insiders, including 2 former employees from Wendy Williams' inner circle, are now claiming there were serious power struggles behind closed doors. According to them, Wendy's guardian, her former publicist, and even some past managers were allegedly fighting for control, each trying to influence how her story was told while Wendy herself slipped deeper into silence. Shockingly, some of those same insiders were reportedly pitching TV and film projects about Wendy's life, raising the big question, who's really protecting her and who's just cashing in while she's unable to speak for herself? At the center of this chaos stands Wendy Williams, isolated, medicated, and constantly monitored. Her fans remain split right down the middle. Some believe she's truly ill and needs protection, while others are convinced she's being kept under control under the guise of care. But one thing everyone agrees on, the people who once surrounded her for love, loyalty, or money have all vanished. What's left are lawsuits, documentaries, and a haunting silence that feels impossible to ignore. And yet the storm hasn't slowed down one bit. Kevin Hunter is still trying to fight his way back into Wendy's finances, filing new motions even after being repeatedly shut down by the courts. Meanwhile, Serena Hudson, the woman once seen as his partner and future, now seems to be moving solo. Her name's been erased from Kevin's social media, her presence wiped clean, like she was never part of his story at all. But don't be fooled. Insiders believe Serena might still have secrets locked away, and if her situation keeps crumbling, she might decide it's time to talk. One former stylist who worked with her back in 2019 warned, if she talks, a lot of people are going to regret underestimating her. That statement alone has the industry buzzing, because if Serena decides to spill everything, this scandal could explode on a whole new level. So the burning question now is, who else was in on it? If Kevin and Serena weren't the masterminds, who really was? How deep does this web of exploitation run? Because while a few names are public, others are still hiding behind sealed court files, confidential settlements, and ironclad NDAs. And the whispers don't stop there. Some say even the documentary's producers, the ones who were reportedly paid directly by Wendy's estate, may have been chasing exposure more than truth or healing. If that's true, then it means the woman who made a career out of uncovering other people's secrets has now become the most exploited story of them all. Kevin's drowning in lawsuits. Serena's allegedly spiraling deeper into despair. And Wendy? She's still trapped in a system built to protect her, but surrounded by people who seem to benefit more from her silence than her freedom. One thing's for sure, this story isn't finished. The web of schemes, secrets, and karma might just pull in even more players before it's done. So what do you think really happened behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts in the comments, tell us your theory, and make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Star Watch for all the latest updates. Turn on those notifications, because this storm's nowhere near over. Stay sharp and stay watching.
I feel like the Guardian has not done a good job of protecting my mom.
This is not something that is like a conspiracy theory.
According to a new report, Wendy Williams does not have frontotemporal dementia.
I feel like the Guardian has not done a good job of protecting my mom.
After years of being pushed into silence, locked away, and treated in ways people now call downright cruel, Wendy Williams is finally snapping those chains, finally getting her shot at real freedom. For so long, she was kept out of the spotlight, stripped of her voice, while others twisted her story and spoke for her like she didn't exist. But now, secrets are spilling, and what's coming to light is darker, deeper, and way more explosive than anyone ever saw coming. Recently, leaked confidential neurological test results turned the whole story upside down. These tests came from one of New York's top brain specialists, and the results? Straight up shocking. According to those reports, Wendy Williams does not have the mental conditions that supposedly justified taking her independence away. Let that sink in for a second. A woman who lost her talk show, her fortune, her peace, and even some of her closest relationships might have been misdiagnosed from day one. If that's true, then everything we thought we knew about her downfall might have been a complete setup. And here's where it gets even messier. The same people who were supposed to protect Wendy, the ones running her guardianship, are now being accused of pushing a fake diagnosis.
Wendy Williams, she got fired from Hot 97 because she had a picture of Puffy. So if you don't mind, give me the story from your point of view and what was in the picture.
We were in Cancun. For whatever reason, dude was playing with Puff. He went behind him and grabbed his